What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? How's it going tonight? Happy Tuesday.
Happy.
Tuesday.
What's up? We got Mr. Autogrow up in the top right corner. How you doing, man? Welcome back.
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for having me. I'm in my top middle, so yeah, it's fun to be here. The first time we were doing this, it was a great time, so I'm stoked you guys had me back. I feel like a lot's changed in a year. It had to be a year ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably a little over a year now, and we had a blast. And the Autoflower Gentlemen's Club was the name of that episode, and good time, yeah. But it was all audio back then, so now we get to put a face with the name, but the name, Mr. Autogrow.
But don't remember this face.
No, yeah, exactly. We're not here to remember faces, exactly. But so the name, Mr. Autogrow, not so fitting anymore, correct?
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this last time, but like a lot of growers, I started growing at the very height of the pandemic. So I think I popped my first seed in like April of 2020, and that's how long I've been growing. And it was all autos for like the first year. And there's such like a big community and like a rage around autos, especially in the Instagram community. And it was very easy to jump on I don't have to switch my light type of thing. But then as I started growing, and really deciding like, I've always enjoyed dabs and hash, and I've always had hash while I've been growing. And yeah, I'd press my flower, but it's just not the same as like hash rosin, live rosin, or even like BHO. So it all basically got down to I want to wash. My homie kind of taught me how to wash, and through that, I found that autos just really don't wash. And now I have the name Mr. Auto Grow still, but I only grow photos, so I have to figure out
We can call
a
you
way to change it.
Mr. Not So Autogrow, or yeah, we'll just call you whatever you want, man. I think it still works. I mean, autos are like you started there. Those are your roots, so it's still fitting,
And I'm not bashing them. I love autos. I just don't ever smoke flower. And there's like a, if not a times 2 or times 3 yield difference in washing most autos compared to photos. I mean, I think the highest yield I got to hash was like 3% from an auto, and that's like something I would never keep around. I'm getting like
Wow.
6 or 7 with photos. So,
All right, well, dude, interesting. I mean,
but no disrespect to autos though.
yeah. We'll talk all about it, man. We'll talk all about it. We always jump way ahead here. I want to just ease on in here. What's up, G3? What's up, Monster?
What, motherfucker? How are you?
Never had a bad day in my life, man. I can't complain.
What I like to hear.
What do you got in the bong tonight?
Yeah.
I got some. It's called Pucker Up, and it's one of those photo periods recently harvested, and that's a good one. Like, has like a nice. I mean, it's a kind of a sour terpiness. Definitely a little more funky than the other strains. Yeah, I guess sour and funky kind of like are in the same realm of terps.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And like sour goes along with chem too, I think. But like,
Yes, I agree with that.
this has a nice sourness. But like, let's see how she smokes.
Was that a Soulfire or the one you all don't speak of?
Yep.
The breeder who shall not be named. Yeah. No. Well,
Did
yeah,
those turn
it
out
was
decent though?
it
They
was
looked pretty
Soulfire.
good at the end of your videos before you lost your page. I mean,
Yep. He ate crow a little
They're
bit.
good, man. I like the smoke a lot. We had some issues, but all things considered, all I care about is the quality of the weed. And it's got the quality that I'm looking for. It's got, you know, because of the issues I ran into, yeah, like there's a seed or two in each
Oh,
grinder
that's
full.
not bad at all.
It's not that bad. But like I picked through them, you know, but man, they yielded, and I would imagine because this one in particular, the pucker up, like makes great flower rosin. I can just press it, you know, like and it comes out nice and like light colored, you know, very not too much like flour material left
Right.
over in it. It's really good consistency, that like kind of buttery,
yeah, clear though.
creaminess. Yeah, clear, but like in that like off-white tannish sort of way, but still really nice. Yeah, I'm digging them. What about you guys? What you got?
Smoking on
G3?
some
Monster?
No,
Monster?
no,
Go
go ahead, Monster.
I got some cherry smash. Smoking on that tonight. In-house
cool.
genetics.
That's the in-house one, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Is that
It's a good standby, man. Like bright cherry flavor, you know, with a little bit of like earthiness to it too. It's a good smoke all around. It doesn't like totally kill you. So it's, you know, makes for better podcast weed than the neurotoxin, which just knocks me out.
It's hard to find good cherries.
That one's really the
Yeah.
cherries are really, really pronounced on that one. Unfortunately, I got really tired of growing it, so I ditched the cut. However, I gave I don't know if they really want to talk about this yet, but I gave a friend who we all know some flour, and he's like, "Oh man, my wife really, really liked that stuff. Do you have a cut?" And I'm like, I got rid of it, but I ended up acquiring some seeds from Mass Nuggets, who he's the one who actually gave me the original cut anyway, that he hunted. So we're gonna do a little hunt and see if we can find what we're missing. Might come up with something even better. And then the plan is to
the
plan is
coolest
to
part
S1
you
it
could.
and get some more beans and see what we can find.
hell yeah.
Sweet, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Always
I
good
have
doing a hunt. Always fun.
I have a couple of dog walkers, and one of them is two of them are Mephisto Wedding, and one of them is Miracle Berry. And I think I just smoked like half of a Mephisto Wedding.
Is that a wedding cake cross?
Yeah, it doesn't come out super wedding cakey though. Like you get some vanilla in the
Kind of what you
beginning,
want,
but
honestly.
it's not super cakey.
That's
which
awesome.
Is not bad. I'm not super into the pastry type profiles, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, I kind of only like it when it mixes with a fruit profile, which is a lot of these like hash crosses. It's like wedding cake cross with like a guava or a papaya or something like that, and you don't get so much of the pastry as you get like the effects of the cake, which is pretty rad.
Yeah,
Nice.
I definitely
What?
prefer that.
So we know you're an oil guy. What are you dabbing right now?
I got some of my stuff, rainbow guava, bloom cross, bloom seed co. They're like my favorite hairy palms. That's rainbow belts cross with his strawberry guava male, which is his elite dumper, and then this is garlic juice, which is GMO cross with papaya. And
Yum.
as you can imagine, that is like a White Castle. I say it all the time, but it's like a White Castle with orange juice. It's just, you get so much GMO, but it's got such a bright, rotten, fruity mix on it. But it grows like GMO. That's the only problem. The cut, I took it 70 days last time, and she's flowering right now, like day 14 Thursday. I'm gonna take her 77 easily because she could do it.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, some of that higher end shit, like a lot of it will go, you know, 9, 10, 11 weeks. People always want everything in 7 to 8, you know. It doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, especially the sour crosses, the GMOs and the sour dub. They're all
I got some
longer.
I got some Kimberly going from Exotics. It's GMO crossed with strawberries and cream.
Yeah,
And
that's a dumper too.
Yeah, so that one's like 2 weeks behind my other room. and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you're way more than 2 weeks behind, honey. You're gonna be going like,
So
you know,
worth
probably
it though.
probably closer to like 9.5 weeks, I imagine, before she'll be done.
My buddy has that, and it's like a 5.2% to hash. It's a good one, man.
You know what's funny is that was a freebie from like 2 years ago. I bought some beans off them at Boston Freedom Rally, and they
That's
threw me a
crazy.
pack, 2 packs of those actually. I gave 1 pack to Bucky from Brothers and Farms. Yeah. Anyway, now the stuff.
Shout out to Biff.
Yeah, shout out to Biff. Now
Mhm.
I've smoked it before, man. It's actually really good smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's sick.
I'm kind of a sucker for anything with strawberries and cream. I mean, plus GMO. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
can't
I
beat it.
mean,
You really
GMO's
can't.
wicked played out. You know what I mean? But there's a reason that people love it so much because it.
it's just played out because it washes so well, dude. GMO rules. If you like the funky terps, you'll never get over. It's played out because it dumps so well. Everybody has it in their rim to make money in case another crop doesn't yield as well, and they're hashing it all. So
Yeah.
you can't hate the strain. You gotta hate the
No.
game. I
That's the
love
type of shit when
GMO.
you're
I
trimming
like
it
that.
up, you can literally see like the dust flying into your fucking trim
Oh,
bin.
dude, the
Just
best
dump.
heads.
Yeah.
They're such fat heads, dude. Like
Yeah.
all of them are like big 120 heads. Oh,
So is that it? Like I want to, like what makes a particular strain a dumper?
so like really the way how easy the heads are gonna fall off the strain is how well it's gonna wash. So, I mean, I've had strains that you wash them and there's nothing there when you go to collect it, and those are the same strains that when you take a black glove at the end of harvest and just touch up on the bottom of a nug, it's just oily and greasy. You don't even see a head. Whereas the dumpers, you put it under there and it just looks like beach sand on your black glove. Heads are just there because they haven't broken. The membrane's thick enough that it didn't pop and the oil is still inside. And that's what you want. And you really want a stalk that is kind of short and it's going to break easy because you will get stalk. And I want to say stalk, I mean the trichome stalk. You'll get stalk matter in your hash. And if you're pulling like 70 to 149, I mean, we can explain this later. I don't want to take over too much at all or anything, but
No, I mean
you're
we're
pulling
we're
that.
not here to do hash 101. I mean, I assume for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most part people know like what hash is, and we're talking about trichomes and how you isolate the
exactly.
trichomes from the plant and then just smoke that. You leave all the plant material behind. Let's get that out of the way. I'm sorry, just to
No, no,
you
that's chill.
yeah, we're talking like hash 401, man, 501.
There is
Right,
one thing
right.
I wanted to
No,
say though too before I forget. Just because a certain plant doesn't dump well doesn't mean it's not good smoke either. People should know
not
that.
at all.
Yeah.
It's just,
Just the way it works. It's just
it's
not a
just
good
going to
dumper.
be
Yeah.
disappointing if you grow a room of that plant and you wash it and you get 2 grams back from 10 fucking pounds. You're going to be the saddest. No one needs to go through that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand from the get-go that not everything's going to wash. Be like, oh, I want it. Here's some weed that I grew, do that. It's like, it doesn't just work like that. And that's why you got to give big ups to these genetic companies that are like pioneering that shit, because that's a whole other step to breeding. You're looking
So
for a trait that is beyond everything.
I mean, so the way I'm kind of understanding it, just from what you're saying about like the trichomes, the heads breaking off, and like yeah, I've experienced that where you can see like a sandiness on your gloves when you're handling it. Is that like the shape then of the actual trichome? Because we're talking like there's
So
a stalk and then a head, right? And
yeah, so I mean
you want a
everybody's seen the
short stalk, big head, or
so
big
and the reason
big
for that
stalk,
is you
short
don't
head?
you the resin is only in, so okay, the trichome shape is, everybody's seen it, the stalk and a bulb on top, and basically
Looks
all the
slightly
resin.
phallic, in nature. It's I mean, it's
Exactly.
a shaft and a head.
Kind of
It's-
dirty, but that's where the juice is. You could literally, there's no reason to smoke it. And I'm not bashing flour at all, but all the resin is in the head.
Word.
There's nothing to the plant left over. You know, like, yeah, maybe minimal THC residue on sugar leaves, but that has fallen off of just heads of resin. So really, we're just collecting heads. So you want a short stalk because the stalk is going to break off no matter what, and it's going to end up in your hash. Like this hash that I have, I pull a spectrum that is a little bit wider, but since I do it all small batch and like super gentle, it's very clean. Like I take all the right steps. So I could do a tighter range higher up and sacrifice my yield, but I really don't have to sacrifice yield or flavor because it's all done in a very clean and gentle way, basically. But since my spectrum is wider, I do have some stock material in here. You know, like if you were to break it down into melt and look at it instead of pressing it, you know, it's there. Whereas if you do a tighter range, the 70 to 149 or the 90 to 120, which is the full melt range, which basically, if you take a dab of that without pressing it, your banger is going to look basically clean afterwards because it's going to melt like water.
Gotcha.
There's
We're
just so
talking about
much to
the
it.
micron size of your bags at that point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's just the
Gotcha.
order that you're pulling bags when you're dumping your hash water that you've washed your weed in, your fresh frozen or cured weed in, into these bags to filter your micron heads. So it's just hash water, and however many bags you put in is what you're going to pull. And because the microns are all different sizes, they're going to collect different heads. Some are going to collect stalks more because they'll pass through, and some is just going to give you like the golden spot, you know,
Which
nothing else
now
to it but
mine's
heads.
like my favorite's like 73, sometimes like the 120. What's your favorite micron?
I always just run 45 to 159, and all that means is I'm washing in a big ass vessel with a bag around it. That bag is a 220 bag. So my weed is in that bag and it doesn't go anywhere else. So my weed's not falling through. When I drain that, it's going into a 160 bag and then into a 45 bag. And the 160 is whatever edible, maybe I'll dab it to myself. The 45 is going to have everything because I didn't pull a 73, I didn't pull a 90. You know, it's all to be there in the 45 with some other gold, but also with some stock material. But like I said, you know, wouldn't even be able to notice like this shit. And I'm not even trying to be like that, but it is very fire, and anyone could do that because if you do it gentle enough and you grow good enough material. But
Certainly a lot less work too than pulling. People. I try to tell people that when they're making bubble and they buy the kit, it's like a 7-bag kit. To use every single one of those bags is very tedious and time consuming, and you don't need all of them.
in your waste and hash, and there's no reason to separate them because at the end of the day, if I was just to do my 45 to 159 and then just take out the 90, like the good stuff, 90 to 120, then what's left is robbed of the best part. So what would I even want from that, you know? So not trying to even
Yeah.
go on a tangent,
Mhm.
but really any spectrum is whatever anybody
Mm.
wants. But
What's your favorite way to agitate?
oh, I just
Of
myself,
like a
I just
or
yeah, I
a
literally
Yeah. Give
kitchen
us.
spoon or a
Puts on some Rick
steamer?
James,
Like, what
like
do you use?
little funk.
Cool.
Nice little
No,
stainless
yeah,
steel action.
that's literally an
Ooh.
or. Yeah. Cool, man.
I mean, I just feel like that's the best way, to be honest.
I
Badass
mean, you could
spatula.
get like the wooden spoon that like I used to get whacked with when I was a kid when I misbehaved. My mom used to
Multi-purpose.
draw a little like mean face on it with fangs. It was she called it the
What?
peacemaker.
Oh my god.
You could agitate with one of
May-
those too. I mean,
Maybe
But
not
that
that
was an
exact one,
entire
but
session with your therapist.
oh, that
that was
sounds
back in the
rough.
day when you could do that shit. But no, man, like I love watching your your hash making. Maybe Mad Hatter, if we could I'm gonna share my screen for a minute here. I want to show the audience some of the man's hash.
We're not gonna get the dick pics again, are we?
No. You see him are you seeing his Instagram page here? Beautiful. I see
Let's
you
see.
have like large plants in auto pots.
Yeah,
Right?
man, learn from you, man. That
And
autopot organic way, that is the the recipe of anything, dude. I haven't looked back since that. I don't do anything anymore. I
Right
feel like
on.
a lazy grower.
Nice, brother.
You and me both, but obviously, the results speak for themselves. The top feeding auto pot method is working for yet another satisfied customer. And man, look at the hash. That I mean, just the full like waterfall effect that you get from your presses. I absolutely love. Like just take a look at that. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. Such a nice color too. It's really, really, really great quality stuff, man. So hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, you've had it before.
I
The
have,
caps
I
had the
have.
caps had a dig.
I loved every jar you sent me. I've like really, like you said, the funk kind of comes out from the GMO and some of the crosses, and it's a fruity, funky, like
Yeah.
terp explosion. And
Oh
man,
yeah.
there's nothing like live rosin. There really isn't, and that's the cold pressing and that kind of stuff. Now, you have a freeze dryer too, which is like, that's on a level that's not quite I don't think a lot of people are quite there yet. So maybe we can like back it up a little bit. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here. Hold on, how do I do this? All right, there we go. Maybe we can back up just a little bit, talk about like best practices just for identifying which strains might be dumpers, might be
Yeah.
making the
Yeah.
best bubble. We talked a little bit about like what you look for, like I don't know the sand on your fingertips, that kind of stuff. But like, how can you identify a dumper before you go through the process of?
You cannot. It's not possible. There's just no way. Like even if you have a dumper strain that you know is from a hash breeder, you could get a pheno that just doesn't even put out for you at all. Like, that's just one of the things. People will do these like jar tests. You take a mason jar and take like 10 grams or 20 grams of your bud, throw it in with some ice and shake it up. It's basically like a small simulation of a wash, and you can see how well the trichomes break off and fall and the heads lay at the bottom, and that can give you some idea. I'll be honest, I my best advice is just to go with these companies that are really only breeding for people to grow their stuff and wash it. There's not that many out there, but I stand by like Bloom Seed Company. Y'all heard of like Oni Seed Company
Hmm.
before?
Mhm.
Tropicana cookies. So
Gotcha, you gotcha.
Harry from Bloom was part of Oni, created Trop cookies, created strawberry guava, made papaya popular, all this shit. And they split ways, and Harry did Bloom, and he's just been putting out amazing stuff, and it's all for hash. And honestly, that stuff you'd be damned to throw a seed down and it doesn't dump for you. Like I've had two that do like 4%, and most people are like 4%, that's crazy. And I'm not saying like it's not, but if you grow like you grow well and you like know how to wash gentle and like right, don't it's just the best way to go. Find the companies that are doing that. Canorado is another good one.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Very well established.
Yeah, I mean, even a lot of sea junkie strains. Yeah,
So
some
it's like
symbiotic.
it. What I'm gathering is that like it's really a trait that is bred for, and you leave it to the hands of a person who's grown the seeds, pressed them, and knows which ones press and which ones don't, right?
But there's also, there's tons of people out there, and I mean, tons. I mean, people growing crazy new strains and taking the risk and the chance and finding these things. And maybe they don't even dump. A lot of companies can afford to have a few strains that are terrible yields for like profit, but the terps are so
They're
good that
just
they can
good
have like a
terps.
small batch. So that stuff is all still happening. But
Cool.
for a home grower, yeah, I would go with the proven companies that you'll at least get a decent yield.
So there's no way to really kind of establish without, kind of going through the motions and on whether or not it's, gonna be fucking a good dumper, right, per se. So
Yeah, I
now
mean, there's no way. Yeah.
so now you have your bubble, right? We've talked about you pulling your bubble. How do you dry it, right? If you don't have a freeze dryer, what would be a best practice for somebody to dry it, right? What do you
So
recommend?
you'd sieve it. That would be the best way. Sieve or microplane it. And for that process, you're gonna want to wick a bunch of the water out of it, like off the top, and then you put it in a freezer or like a wine cooler or something that's super cold. Let it slowly dry, and then you'll be able to get to a point where you can, microplane it or run it through a sieve, break it up into very small microscopic pieces, without losing a yield or getting messy. Like, you got to really do it in a cold environment and let that dry back in your cold area for, roughly, if you do it right, you can do it in the same amount of time a 24-hour freeze dryer cycle will run. um, but it's also just, there's nothing wrong with, if you can, like, a lot of people do have freeze dryers now. It's pretty crazy. Like, it used to be a thing that is not super common, and it was like 2 grand. But I mean, I know obviously not everybody has that. Hell, at the time I barely,
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's an
but
investment for sure, but it's
but
not
it
like
it already paid for
unheard of.
itself. If
Yeah.
it's something you want to do, like, I guarantee
It's
you
really not
it'll
that
pay
out
for
of
itself.
reach when you think about it, right? Because a lot of people will
Yeah.
spend that kind of money on a press anyway, right? So, um, to if you, I mean, look, the the difference between live rosin and your, stuff you've air dried and pressed, there is a difference. There's a reason that live rosin is the most expensive concentrate you can buy. It's because it's different. The terps that you get from live just fucking blow everything out of the water. I don't
No,
have a
it's
freeze
the
dryer, but man, I'd love to own one, but I don't
That's
fuck around enough with it to really want to invest the 2 or 3 grand.
no, so
Sure.
that's
No, I totally
because
get
all
it.
right, no, just let me interject here if I may.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
why is that? Like, why does the freezing
You're
kinda
preserving the
I mean, it
terps
just
in the
locks in
drying process.
everything? And
Yeah.
Well,
because when you wash the bud itself, it is not dried yet, correct? It is, like, fresh off the plant, correct?
and then frozen, so it does have a lot of moisture to it. But
Or the
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 buds,
buds are frozen or the bubble hash you collect is then frozen? You mean
well, both
frozen, like,
technically.
in a regular freezer, the buds are?
Yeah, negative, but a regular freezer is
Okay,
like -1 degrees. So
okay.
yeah, you take your buds and you have to, when you chop them down, immediately within 2 hours, get them into bags and into a freezer. They need to be frozen for 24 hours.
And that's what you make your bubble hash with, and
Then you
then you
go to
take
wash that.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha,
exactly.
and then
And
you would
then,
freeze dry your bubble hash
but you got
after
to
that.
understand, the freeze dryer isn't just freezing it, it's pulling a vacuum and it's sucking moisture out as fast as it can without losing terpene content. It's like supposed to keep, it's for food. So it's supposed to keep all your flavor and everything in there while just pulling a vacuum and wicking water, basically. So it's pulling a vacuum. It's not just like a freezer, whereas you'd have to let it sit, and that's why you'd break it all up to let it dry quicker if it's
Mhm.
sieved, if you don't have a freeze dryer.
I will say for people that don't have a freeze dryer, fresh frozen bubble hash is still very, very terpy compared to making, with dried flour. That's usually the way I like to make it. I think it, the flavor that you get from even without a freeze dryer, the fresh frozen bubble hash is fucking awesome when you
Oh
Word.
yeah, I
press
mean,
that
it's
shit.
all still fresh frozen. I mean, if you
Yeah.
freeze the bud, and whether it's a freeze dryer or anything, but I give props to people with the air dry, because that shit takes a lot of time. And if you do it right, then that's a skill for real,
Yeah.
because it's very easy to just, washing is already a tedious task, especially if you're hand washing. I'm over here
Mhm.
with a 30-gallon barrel. So once you're done with a 5-hour washing session, then last thing you want to do is spend a day breaking up the hash. You throw in a freeze dryer, and by the morning it's time to press. Like,
What size bags are you using? 5 gallon or a 20 gallon? Like you're doing a lot of fucking hash there.
so I wash in a 30-gallon, but I just collect in 5 gallons. Are you talking about pressing, or are you talking about
No,
washing?
your wash bag. So, a lot
Yeah.
of people use the 5 gallon. I've seen the 20-gallon kits. I was curious because I was thinking about actually upgrading my bubble bag system to the 20 gal because running shit through 5 gallon bags. I mean, you could be there all fucking day.
Dude, I mean, I used to just break my back, and I was like, "This is terrible." My system now, I don't do any like extensive labor or anything like that. I literally just can wash, and that's like enough labor. Bend
Yeah,
over, pull a valve, it goes into the bags. I have a pump running, a hose, so all the wastewater just goes through a 25 micron and then just down the drain because it's clean at that point, or relatively clean. And then I just do that over and over and over, and
nice,
it's very, very chill.
nice.
Well, excuse me. You've clearly, like, oh man, invested a little bit. Ah, ah,
Breathe,
ah.
my friend, breathe.
This is why I should invest in a hash making setup because, like, it's way easier on your lungs to smoke dabs all day. I mean, like, dried flower is great, but man, it's hard on the lungs. I keep talking about, like, a way out of the bong matrix,
There it is. There's
but
your way.
like,
It is, dude. That is hard on your lungs, and it's unnecessary. And you also, I mean, again, not disrespecting flower. I've smoked flower my whole life until probably the last 2 years. I haven't smoked any flower, but to be honest, it kind of just tastes burnt after you smoke flower. You kind of just don't smell like the best. Like, I don't know. There's just something to it. Whereas you can just take a
hear you,
dab and you're
man.
hot. You're higher than you would be. You smell like a fucking fruit shop, and I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. There's just something to it. It's just easier, and it's better. I've had asthma my whole life, and my past 10 years, it's like kind of gone away. Um, but man, like I smoke cigarettes forever, and I honestly compare smoking flower, the taste that I get in my mouth afterwards, to how it was when I smoked cigarettes. I'm just a hash guy all the way now.
I
Yeah.
hear you. So you're a flower snob, huh? So
I dry branches for my people's like parents, like her stepdad, my wife's stepdad, and shit. Like I
mhm,
just
yeah,
And I'm good, like,
yeah.
nothing
I hear you.
against it, it's just not
I
for me.
hear you. Yeah. See,
It's
I
cool,
think
man.
we're the exact opposite. Like
I was gonna say, a lot of people, this isn't for them, you know?
yeah. No, I love like having it on hand and like, being able to take a dab like when I want to, but generally speaking, I'm just a flower guy and I can't really ever see myself getting away from that. But to each their own, like I don't knock I'll bust your balls about it and you can bust my balls about fucking,
We'll just
wasting my time
bust
smoking
each
flower.
other's balls up against
Yeah.
each other all
Yeah.
day. You're
Yeah.
smoking your weed, I'm smoking my hash, I'm balding.
Hey,
Yeah.
Alright,
as
Yeah.
long as we're all high, I think we can
right,
all
right.
get along. But um, well, I wanted to get into a little bit like about how you do dabs, man. I think that's like definitely a discussion worth delving into a little bit. Like best practices for you're obviously a terp man like myself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Terp connoisseur.
Terp man. And if you want if you're going through all this trouble to freeze dry your bubble hash and all this stuff, like you obviously must have your preferred method of consuming the product then. Like how do you feel is the way to get the most from your product?
Yeah, number one, a rig. Take a dab out of an actual rig with a blowtorch. I think that is the highest and the best. I mean, you'll probably get the best taste out of the certain banger that you use, but you will not get any higher than there's nothing else that'll get you higher. Like basically, I recommend like a terp slurper. There's
Okay,
rotating
what? Yeah,
pieces that you
I've
can
seen
put
those.
on
Like,
the inside of this banger. So this would contain like little balls or like a little pillar, and then there will be another ball right here on top. And then on top of that, you have another ball like this, and that kind of suctions it. So they all spin when you hit it, and this creates a vortex effect. So that flavor is kind of circulating all around. Meanwhile, you're just getting so stoned. It's just unreal. I've honestly haven't. I got one, like a permanent one that I really liked like a year ago, and we don't even use anything else anymore. People
Can
are like,
you
oh, you
can you show us
turf
the rig?
surfing all the time.
Can
Yeah.
I
So
see it? And like, so that's all right. It's tinier than I would have thought, man, but it's very nice.
like, unfortunately, I'm not like a glass snob, but this is like $500, which is like,
Oh, damn. Holy
damn.
shit,
But
man.
No, you
it's a
can see the work put into
recycler.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
The main function is that it recycles right here. The water will all spin like a tornado effect, kind of replicating what I just said. Flavor, terpenes, everything. The smoke is circulating. It's kind of creating this whole flavor intensity. Everything's molded together. And then I have, you would just pop a little thing in like that. So I haven't cleaned this. I just used it. And then a couple balls and let's see, this will probably spin. I don't know if you can see the
Nice.
water
Yeah,
spinning, but
yeah. That's
that's what
cool,
I would
man.
do. But I also have one of these, and I call this like a diet dab. This is like a Puffco. It's really
Yeah,
good for
yeah.
on the go, but like it is a very small substitute for a dab. And then maybe like a
That's
pen. You can make pens. I've just been making my own little hash pens, and you don't need to put anything else in them.
Great
And
transition, man. Tell us more. Tell us how you make those.
yeah, it's actually incredibly easy. You just buy a
like a
small
little,
little
like a cart thing, like a.
yeah, I have one like I think it's upstairs, but I wish I had it down here. Yeah, little cart. I have videos on my page of me showing you how to make them like really easily, but
Word, holy
you
shit! Because
just take
dude, that's like I'm taking those on vacation with me. That's like all I'm bringing down.
yeah,
You
dude.
know, I'm bringing those down to the Caribbean because it's like who
Oh,
knows what
sick. That's
could
gonna
just
be
be
fun.
like nicotine carts.
Dude, that is
It's
my thinking every time is who's gonna
it's
take the time to
they
figure out what
yeah
the
All
hell
it's
right.
kind of
Well,
weird
just
liquid.
remember Brittany Griner.
yeah. I
True,
mean,
true,
true.
true.
That's
That's a good point.
like
I also think they're
You know,
like
I don't
trying
want
to
to have
just
to
make
print
a
out a bunch
point
of free
there,
captain T-shirts.
man, I don't either. I don't either. But I have done it before, so knock on proverbial
Yeah.
wood and just fingers crossed. But like, man,
100%.
that's my thinking is like you can fly with vapes in your carry-on. Like
Yeah.
e-cigarettes are fine to bring with you to a resort, and I'm gonna bring
If
some
anything, they're just gonna take the
THC
shit, dude.
carts.
Especially in the States. Like if
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
happens,
You're not getting
confiscated.
checked when you get off, so I wouldn't really worry about it. But
So
Right.
so yeah. So
yeah, I
tell us
think I'll be.
more.
Yeah, I would love to
Tell us
know how
more.
I can maybe, I don't know, maybe make my own one day.
Yeah.
Maybe not before Christmas, but
No, it's like really easy. So you'd have
word,
to
man.
go ahead and go online and buy yourself some little hash pods. I get mine from o2vapes.com wholesale. And it's super chill. Basically, you have a little convection oven, something that can reach like 150 to 170, and you want to go like 165 is the sweet spot where you want to stay at because it's going to stay on for like 3 or 4 days. And you take however much hash, I use my live rosin once it's whipped up, like what would just go in a jar to go smoke. I just throw it into a small little glass, like U-line jar, little ounce jar or 2 ounce jar, depending on how much I'm making. Um, and seal it and pop it in there, and it will basically it's decarbing is what it's doing. And that's also how you can make jam or like kind of a form of diamonds if you were to take it off, and that's a whole other story. But basically, it's just going to sit there and liquefy, and all the bubbles are going to decarb and go to the top. And after like 36 hours, I'll take it out, give it a second, take the lid off, take a little tool, stir the bottom because there's like crystallization at the bottom. Pop the lid back on, throw it back in, and wait for it to just have like a water like viscosity to it. It's basically going to look kind of transparent through the glass, no bubbles really, not a lot of rising bubbles. And then you can just take that shit and put it in a glass syringe. Basically, have your carts ready, put the syringe in your oven for 5 minutes, pour it in, pour them into the syringes. They don't need to do anything. I let them sit overnight. Any bubbles will go away. That's it. You don't have to add any type of distillate or anything crazy. You just can use your own stuff.
Oh, shit. And how's the flavor profile after you've decarbed it for
Oh,
3 days, 4 days?
unreal, unreal. We had the garlic juice on Thanksgiving, and that was great. But before that, I had like there's a ton of rainbow guava ones, and just stupid, so awesome.
Do you happen to know, like, all right, so like you have like 1 gram cart, right, or a half-gram cart? How much rosin
Half.
it would? Okay, so how much rosin typically would it take to fill 1 half-gram cart? Do you have that number by any chance?
Oh, I mean, it would just be a half gram of rosin would fit in the
Well,
two.
So like
you're not losing anything.
he's not like watering it
So,
down at all. I mean,
so
I imagine.
two.
No,
No, but I guess
I
you're
was
saying,
curious
will I
if you're
lose
losing.
anything to
Yeah.
the syringe or to the process? So yeah, it's a good question.
Okay,
Also, I didn't
okay.
know. I didn't know if you were going there though. So I will always add like last time I did, I think like 40 of them, and I add 2 grams extra in there, and that's just for good measure. I had more to go over, but I'll usually lose a gram to the very bottom of the syringe. When you put all your pressure to it, it's still a good little amount. So no, it's a good question. And then it gets stuck in the tip of the syringe leading up to it. So, but people like there's a demand for them too. So like, if you wanted to go
Did you
that
say you're
route, it
using a
wouldn't even.
glass syringe?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon
Did you ever
for
think
sure.
about like heating up the syringe and maybe having it? Wouldn't it like
I
drip
do.
down?
That's what I'm saying. You put the syringe in there for 5 minutes before, and it gets hot too. And then you
No, I
pull
mean
everything
like
out and pour it in.
afterwards, like the 1 gram or whatever that you can't
Oh,
get out.
dude,
Wouldn't
I've tried everything.
really?
Basically, my routine now is I let it sit, scoop it out, and I dab it because the only way to do it is it won't drip through anything, even if it's hot enough. It won't like
It just
be
won't.
liquid enough to you'd have to put pressure on it to get it through.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
spent some I spent some time trying, but it still doesn't taste terrible dabbing it because it's not like anything. It's just like decarbed hash. It can be like jam. So
That's interesting though. See, I didn't know that. I always wondered, like I've seen people with like live rosin carts, and I'm like, what else are you doing to that? Like now I know that nothing.
there's like
That-
3 videos on my page, and low temp industries. They have a video on their page. I literally watched that and just did what they did,
yeah,
and
nice.
it worked.
That's
So
probably like, I mean, I think they offer live rosin, vape carts basically at the dispensaries here, and they're like twice the price of the CO2 extracts or any of
oh
that
yeah,
kind of stuff. The yeah, anything that's not like a live rosin is a inferior
I
product.
mean it's the pinnacle, but I mean it's just
Yeah,
what it
it's
is,
true,
dude.
man. It is what it
And the
is.
most
Exactly.
goes into that, dude. I mean, it's kind of like it's the one thing where whoever's doing like honestly the most, and I'm not saying like I'm like oh doing the most. I'm just saying like it's so much. You grow the plant, you fucking
You're
wash the plant,
doing
you
a
press the plant,
fuckload.
like fucking
Like
A,
it's
man. What
like
else are we gonna
we're
do with this plant?
listen, like it's I'm and because I'm amazed at like where you've taken this hobby. Like you're a tent pirate, like all of us, like
Yeah, I
out
mean, yeah,
there in
exactly.
the
You're learning
prohibition
it, man.
land USA, right? Like I mean, like a lot of people, man. It's like you are taking this hobby to like another level in like this. I mean, it's not even like about the growing anymore. You've I mean, I don't want to say you've mastered it because no one's ever mastered it, but like
Not,
you
yeah,
do it effectively enough where there's not like you're not like worried about, what you're pulling from each tent, like your yields are sufficient, like your plants are healthy, you have your techniques down pat. Now we're talking about like post processing, the whole like the after grow trichome care, which is like on this whole other plane of knowledge, man. It's like it's really cool, and I applaud you for it. It's cool watching, but yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know
no,
quite where I
man.
was going with that, other than just giving you a little props, man.
No, I appreciate it. I honestly think that if anybody else had like the same gear or access to it, they could, and the time to learn it, they could too. Because I'm still the hardest part is having a consistent, successful grow, man. The washing is kind of like uniform, and that's always something everybody
All right.
could, you know what I mean? You could have 20 amazing grows, and then boom, have a shitty grow right after that. It could just
So there are
happen to
things
anybody.
you're still thinking about, like in run to run. It's not like clockwork
Constantly.
for
I
you so much.
have a plant literally in my rainbow guava cut. This one right here. I've had this cut. I popped those seeds like a week ago last year, and I've still had this cut around. It's like the longest I've ever kept the plant around. It's that worth it. And this round, she was just so hungry, and like her leaf or her stems are like very thin and almost, you barely brush over the tops, and they kind of go like that. And finally, after I gave her some silica, I like to wait because I wanted her to get some stretch. And stretching into the light with the craziest node spacing. Usually I have this node spacing down. And I am using like a slightly different light. Anyway, besides the point, this girl has been a little bit finicky, but I raised the light, took the carbon filter out, put it on the outside of the tent. So we'll see. But it's just always, there's always something.
Different light, different node spacing. I think it's
But it's
pretty.
crazy because they're both SF7000s, and the first one, the one that I'm having trouble with, is the original model, the green one that I've had forever, and I used to run that with autos, and it would even give me some problems, and I didn't chalk it up to the light. And now I have the silver version that I've had forever, and it's the best light I've ever had. My plants, those are the ones where my plants are like right next to it, and they're fucking happy as shit, just praying, getting burned. They don't even care. Like just the white, light bleaching. They don't care at all. They're still happy. And the lights are so different, man. So I actually just got them to send me another silver version. So I'll have two, same everything, no fucking difference. But
Interesting.
it's crazy, man. Like the green one reads par different over here to over here by like 300. It's so fucked up.
What?
But I do love Spider Farmer. If my reps out there don't get, no, I'm just
It
kidding. I'm
might just
just
be
joking.
it might have been just like a quality control thing, like on that particular model when the initial release happened. Who the fuck knows,
I think they
man?
just blew it with the first one, to be
I
honest.
think,
Because the second one's amazing, dude. Like I swear
word.
by
Yeah,
it.
I know a lot of people love Spider Farmer, man. I've never used one of their lights, but
Yes, you have.
have I?
Yeah, you own some Oz Hydro, right?
Yeah. I mean,
They're the
hey,
same fucking company, just with different branding.
I know,
Honestly, I totally believe it. It's
I
like
think
either one or
it's.
the other,
I
Yeah.
know. They slap a
Whoever
different
would
sticker
whoever would
on 'em.
send us the light first. So.
Yeah.
But hey, they're effective. Now, do you do anything like in your grow? Do you add anything specific for trichome production?
I mean, people won't say that like they don't sell it as this, but I'm sure you all know Photosynthesis Plus by Microbe Life.
Never heard of it.
Are you
No, we
joking?
I know what you're talking
No,
about.
no, we love them, man. We love
I'm
them.
like
I was gonna
I'm like
say,
standing on the rooftops screaming to
yeah,
people about that product.
that's the
Yeah.
best shit you can give your plants. Like I
Yeah.
honestly don't even really give it until late veg. Then I give it all through flower. I swear you feed them that, and the next day your plants like you can literally see like 2x trichrome production. I'm always
Yeah.
like blown away by that shit.
You should
So
try it incorporating a little foliar and veg with it. You'd be amazed what it can do with a
I don't
foliar.
spray anything. I've just
Really?
never done it. I
Yeah.
already have like a very jungle-like humidity. It's not like I've never had like PM or anything, knock on wood, but I always even through flower I run like 70 to 73, like it just I have really fire airflow. I have like three
Nice.
fans in each tent, and it's literally two 3x3s with one 6.6 gallon auto pot in each one scrogged. But I mean, the airflow's there, the light's there. I've never really run into that. But it is humid. But I mean, my VPD's kind of pretty much in target the
I was
whole
just gonna
time.
say
So,
if
yep.
you run high enough temps, it doesn't really matter as much as people think. Like the
Yeah,
VPD
like
is the ultimate number. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah, man. You're killing it. As from what I can tell, it doesn't look like you're encountering too many issues, but like, there's always stuff you run into,
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just everything.
Yeah, man. But the Photo Plus, man, absolutely. Do we have a coupon code with them?
Negative. No, because
No.
they want boots on the
Smart.
ground. They want people buying it in the grow stores.
It's all good.
Go
I
out
mean,
there.
we can Yeah, I mean, coupon code or not, I recommend a product that'll work for you guys. And I mean, obviously, so
All
does
their shit,
Mr.
dude.
Autogrow.
All of it. The
That's the
Nourish,
one
like,
thing I will
good.
not grow without. I really
Yeah.
won't. Like it's that
I
fucking
got a
good.
few things, man.
Yeah.
P31 microbes. You guys use that?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh my God, it's an enzyme that makes water or makes
Genome.
phosphorus water soluble that's already in your soil. It comes in super clutch, and every time I grow, it's guaranteed like you won't encounter a phosphorus issue for the most part. And it's also just like a microbe, so it's super good. I use it
Like
literally from day 7 until a week before harvest. Love that
it
shit.
sounds like competitor to what's the phosphorus solubilizing microbe
Mammoth
product that I'm
P.
thinking of. Yes, exactly. The probably a less expensive,
God, yeah,
but
Mammoth P is like
you know,
$70,
Guess you
some
have
shit,
to
yeah,
like
a
$80
shit
lot
for
of
them
the
your
them.
smallest amount.
firstborn.
A lot.
P31 is cheaper and it is awesome. I swear by it. They also make a silica SI28 safe. I don't use that until week 2 of flower, and then I use it for 3 weeks, and it promotes tighter node spacing, and it
Yep.
kind of stops the stretch. So I let them stretch for like 14 days, and then they kind of still stretch but stop, and they get a little more rigidity and weight to them. They can hold a little more weight. SLF 100 or 1000, whatever it is. I swear I
Yep.
use that once a
That's a
week.
great
I use
product.
bud bread and the coming of age, and fish
Yeah,
shit, and
from
that's it.
those are Cold War
Cold
organics
War, shout out
products.
to them.
The Cold War bud bread and stuff. Was that's what I've been using from the very
I
beginning too. I love
watched
that
you
stuff,
do
dude.
it,
I
and
mean, it's I mean, I don't know if it's like if I could just pick one thing, like one additional input to give my plants, it would probably be the bud bread. I mean, you just give them a lot of that stuff, and you're not gonna you're not gonna see too many issues.
oh,
Um,
dude,
yeah, it's crazy, but I mean I'm not talking about microbes or anything else either. I would literally just pick that. Um, Microbes, you know, you have what's in the soil to begin with, that kind of stuff too. But yeah, bud bread's great. Um, Now, I wanted to I wanted to talk to you. I'm drawing a blank now. Now, you guys, you guys,
I have a
yeah.
question.
What do you have,
So,
G3?
I am a dabbing failure.
what?
Failure. I'm terrible at it. So
No.
I have this cute little rig and it's adorable, but it either like ends up as like this globby puddle that doesn't turn into anything, or I like char the hell out of it and I get hit with something so bad that I'm like dying on the floor and praying for the goddess to release me from this mortal coil. So, how do I like find the right temperature and not kill myself and not
I feel like
waste it at the same time?
I feel
Great
like I'm
question.
gonna be like an infomercial saying this, but the dab right, like this thing right here is the shit. It's a temp reader. You just put it up next to your banger and it turns on. It tells
Shit.
you
Fancy.
straight up, it shows a light. This is the new model, but the old one works just as well. That's what I
Nice.
had been using. But you just got to know kind of what dabs you like. But anything, I would go 500 to 600. But you definitely need a temp reader. And if you don't have, a couple hundred to spare for this, which most people don't, for the longest time I was using a little
Like
temp gun.
two
I was
hundo.
just
Yeah.
I was just gonna
The
say a
little
$20 temp
temp
gun can do the
the
job.
temp gun works great.
Word.
It's
Yeah.
hard kind of without that. Like, and I think I
All right.
dabbed
How
like
about
years
like if
before it. You
let's
just gotta
say I don't even have
feel it
20
out.
bucks. If I just like lick my finger and like stick it right on the
I
banger,
wouldn't suggest that.
So
see how long I can keep it there.
put your tongue out
And
on the banger.
So
No.
when I
No,
don't have
no.
a temp gun handy, I'm an amateur. So this is usually what I do, is I'll just like either cold start, which shout out to Mac. Actually, he gave me that suggestion. I've been doing that a little bit
a
later, and I
cold
kind of like
start.
that.
That's when and can you describe what a cold start is,
Yeah.
please?
So you just kind of you get the rosin in the banger, and then you just heat it up, and as soon as it starts bubbling, you fucking hit it.
Yeah, it's
And-
kind
How
of
many
and
like
you-
a
times can you
low
hit
temp
it?
dab, essentially.
I don't know, maybe a couple. You do waste a little bit that way, but the flavor you get is really good. But without that, before I learned that technique, honestly, I would just heat it up as hot as I could get it and let it cool down like 45 seconds, a minute, and then
Yeah, wait till it's not red hot. Count like
Mhm.
45 seconds after it stops being red hot, and then boom, you should be good.
Yeah.
You can always do the hand trick. You put your hand right over the banger, and if it's not too hot, because you can put your hand over it for reference. Like right after you heat it up, it'll be super hot.
You sure you don't
45
just like
seconds later.
see how long you can keep your fingertip there?
Oh my goodness.
Still no pain. I'm on hash.
Oh my
No
gosh.
Terrible
pain, no
beer
gain.
commercial.
Dude, it's funny as
I
shit.
could do it. Nectar collectors are the only reason I can enjoy them anymore.
Oh,
It's
that's great.
brilliant.
Those are awesome. I had one for a paw one.
What's
Yeah,
that?
there's a little
you never heard of an
elec
nectar collector?
electronic,
mine
like an
is
anteater.
Like
silicone.
a
Yeah.
proboscis of like a
Yeah,
insect?
basically.
To
It's
like
like a straw. I don't know where mine is.
It's
Mine's
like an
silicone and
anteater
metal,
for head.
of just
but they have glass ones too. And you torch it
okay.
till
Okay.
it's red hot,
Oh,
and
you
then
have
you
to
wait.
torch it. Got you.
Yeah,
Mine was
they have electric ones
electronic.
too.
Sounds
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine
cool,
was
man.
electric.
Now, like all right, like I am a big fan of, like you said, traditional glass rig quartz banger, like crack torch type apparatus. I feel like you get the best hit if you can do the technique. Now, like when you heat the banger before putting the product in the banger, like you said, Monster, I always give it like a good. I wait till I can see the flame on the torch turn from like a blue to it's like a light red around the sides of the banger. That's how you can tell it's red hot, right?
Yeah.
Stop heating it, wait 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, right? And then put your, whatever what do they always say? Like a grain of rice sized dab. That's
Dab,
like
yeah.
that's the serving size. Like, give me a fucking
What?
break here. Yeah, right. Like that's what they
A
always say.
grain of rice?
Or a grain of sand. That's what I meant. Not a grain of rice. A grain of rice would be.
Of
Oh,
sand?
That's like a dude. That's what they say on the like the
What is
dispensary
it, dosage for
dabs. I'm
ants?
telling you,
No.
yes.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
dispensary dab, like dosage
A grain
requirements.
of
It's
sand.
like take like a grain of sand type. Yeah, I'm serious,
What,
man. Like,
what do they think people
Something
do
kinda
with this
poetic
stuff?
fucking
about that.
crazy. Like, I'm trying to get high here, not just like fuck around and just we're trying.
I'm not afraid to admit it. I take baby dabs. I take little ones,
But
probably
a
like
grain of sand?
not
grain?
that small, like a grain of like rice, probably. Yeah, not
Yeah,
much
grain
more
of
than that.
rice.
Hey,
It's about
grain of
right.
rice. Depending on the rice, you could be eating good. Like
Oh yeah,
a good sized
that
dab.
basmati stuff. It's like real
Dude,
long
I
grain.
see some of you sick fucks. You guys, it's not dabbing at that point. It's called globbing. Like fucking just fucking throwing a fucking huge chunk in there. Yeah.
Dude, there really is nothing better though than like taking a huge, like oversized dab at like a little bit too warm of a temperature.
Oh yeah,
Just a little bit.
Launch yourself
Getting that
into
like
orbit.
getting that
Jeez.
huge hit, like
Yeah.
really.
Then you get the dab sweats.
gotta
Dab
change your shorts.
sweats,
It's not a
for
good
sure.
dab unless you don't change your shorts. That's what they say.
Unless, yeah, right.
The fuck,
Dab
dude.
sweats. I like that. Actually, it's now cold start wise. Okay, like temperatures on cold starts. At least from my experience, I wait till like you put the product in the banger before you're heating. But as you're heating, you're gonna see the product liquefy and then bubble, and then kind of like evaporate. Wait 2 more seconds, 3 more seconds with the heat after that evaporation. Then put your, they call them the cap on. You always need like a carb cap or something. Yeah, dab, a banger helmet.
Carb cap. You had it right.
A banger
Carb.
helmet. That's a good one.
It's your little banger helmet. You put it on, and then like
We need to
mine,
get you on speakerphone calling a fucking dab shop and be like, "You guys got any fucking banger helmets?"
Banger helmet. That's great. That's good.
but yeah, mine like you kind of like push it around, and it gets the air and all the little pockets of the banger, and it like within 5 seconds of your taking the dab, it's like all your smoke. I don't want to call it smoke, but it all your smoke is out and you're
Yeah.
inhaling it. But it's yeah, it's a just a technique. It's a technique, guys. I don't think it's that tough. I feel like a lot of people really do struggle with the mechanics of doing a banger or
I mean,
doing a
this
banger,
is this
doing a
is
dab.
hella intimidating, dude. This is
It is.
some people think this is. I mean, back in the day, people come over and be like, "What kind of crackhead shit is this? Can I
Mm-hmm.
just smoke some weed?" And I'm like, "No, we can't. This is all we got." But
Oh, dude,
you
you
know what I
should
mean?
hear
Like,
my father fucking give me
get
the
it.
speech every time I break that thing out. Jesus Christ, the
You
fuck we
know,
got going on around here? Can we just
it's
roll a joint?
I,
all right. So
I
it's like
get
a
it.
little bit of I mean, maybe there's a discussion to be had there. I don't know. Like you're refining your end product, okay? Like
Yeah.
you're doing the post processing is what turns your flour into your live rosin. It's like it's literally, I mean, you could equate it to like turning a cocoa leaf into a big snow snow pile of the finest blow on
Yeah,
planet Earth, right?
cocaine
Like, I mean, like, or turning
it's
opium like
alcohol, you know?
into
It's
fucking
so
heroin
fun.
or morphine. Well, alcohol, I don't know, alcohol, like, yeah, I guess I don't
I
know. I
mean,
feel like it's
hell,
more
with
of a
with some of
refinement
those
process.
super high alcohol content alcohols, like,
Yeah.
man, it's
Okay.
just the same
I
idea.
mean,
It's just,
okay, distillation is definitely a refinement process. I agree.
but
I
yeah, I
agree.
totally get you.
But it's like you're consolidating all the stuff that like we love about the plant, and that's it does scare people. It's like you're like, whoa, man, I just like smoking some flower, getting like like playing some hacky sack with my buddies, smoking a couple couple bowls. Like this seems like I'm doing drugs.
It does
I don't want
though.
to. It does, but
I
like.
mean, what the fuck? Dude, somebody came up to
Yeah.
us like, "Come
Here's the
into the
thing though,
back
like
room
I
with
can
me."
walk down the street and smoke my joint, right? I can't like you couldn't just do that in public in most places. Like people are like,
Oh,
what the
dude.
fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah,
Like,
Not
You
unless
could
you're
take
making
you could
creme
take the
brulee. No.
yeah.
you could
yeah,
take that
exactly.
Yeah, have your little white dishes out with like fucking they come by. Yeah, make a creme brulee, officer. Would you like some? Fucking A.
you could take
Yep.
your
Sweet cover. Totally
what's the
works.
thing called, the automatic dab thing, what's that called
The
again?
email.
Email.
Puffco?
No, the
Oh,
Puffco,
the
the Puffco that
Puffco.
you got.
Yeah.
Like I saw a video, no lie, like of it was a dude in like Colorado. Granted, he was in like a legal state, so he was like walking around a fucking Lowe's with a Puffco, just taking dabs, like straight up in like
They
a
probably didn't
Lowe's, and
care.
they're like, why won't you guys kick me out?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so high. Like, and I've just been walking around this store taking dabs, and they're like, yeah, no, like we're pretty chill here at Lowe's. It's
We won't. Yeah,
you
but
can
like,
get
we
as
won't
high
kick
as you
you out.
want. Like where I was laughing, like I was dying. I was dying.
Honestly,
But
that's awesome.
it's great, like you said, for portability.
Yeah, like vacations and stuff. Not so much like being out in public. That's more like a dab pen. But like traveling, you don't want to take expensive glass anywhere or deal with a
Yeah.
blowtorch
You
somewhere.
would
But
take your
e-nails are also a really good option. I used to use the e-nail all the time, but it got
that
hard to
emails are
keep
cool.
that clean, honestly, because it's on most of the time if you're taking a lot of dabs. That's like the benefit of an e-nail, and then it's like, shoot, the e-nail's always on. I can always take a dab. And find yourself burning through your hand every damn day. So we just boxed the e-nail up. That's in the attic with the ghosts. I don't know,
The
but
emails are a great solution, like for your problem there, G3. Like if you struggle with heating the right amount or waiting the right amount after you heat, like that'll just dial it right in, you know?
Yeah, because that's still a grown-up dab. That's like I still consider that you'd get just as high as with a blowtorch. I mean, I did E&L for years, but a Puffco, it just doesn't hit the same. You don't get everything. It turns everything into like a certain vapor that can go through. It's just
Interesting.
not hot enough. And it is technically hot enough, but it's something's just not there. You still get hot, but it's like a diet dab kind
Diet dab. That's
of.
a good way
Yeah,
to
I'm
put
not
it,
gonna
man.
not gonna lie though. Like for me, like I
That's
said,
good for a lot of
I take
people.
baby dabs. Like, it's quite intriguing, and I keep thinking about getting one. Like I've been on the fence. I've been looking at all sorts of like electronic fucking dab devices, and I haven't been able to pull the trigger on one because I can't fucking decide. But yeah, it's convenient and it's appealing to somebody like me who just wants it to like be able to just take a couple of toots here and there.
Well,
To like,
oh yeah,
um,
I mean, I get it. I just say that to say, don't go taking a bunch of Puffco dabs
yeah,
and then go hit a
yeah.
rig thinking it's gonna be the same thing and
Like
pass out at
I'm getting
somebody's
sick
house.
of
You know what
like
I mean?
I don't even dab that much, but like you go through fucking cans of butane and shit, and it's
Oh,
fucking
dude, and
loud,
it's
obnoxious,
loud.
and yeah, like yeah.
Say
So
no
I've been
more,
looking
friend. I get
into
it.
one, but dude, no fucking way around it. Like you want a real fucking dab, and you want to get blasted out of
Yeah,
your fucking
I feel
mind.
like sometimes you gotta be able to have that option. After a
Mhm.
long day, you just want to blow your brains out with a half Jeezy or something. Like you really, I'm serious. Like everybody's
Mhm.
been there. Like
Uh,
Yeah.
or at 9
absolutely.
a.m. Whatever. Like
All right,
I'm
hey,
not.
no judgment here, dude. I mean,
I'm
shoot.
Yeah.
up at 6 every day, so hour with the plants or an hour with the kid or whatever, and then we're getting the day started somehow.
Like
So
at a certain point, it's just like, one dab can take you to the place that like 4 bong rips might be able to take you, and it's
and that's the
it's more
beauty of
efficient,
it.
it's more practical, and it saves your time and your
How
lungs
much time
overall. I
did you
mean,
just save? Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. How much time did you just save? Holy shit! Like you didn't have to pack
sure.
4 bowls or smell like bong water. I mean, I
Ah,
cannot
yeah.
get over that, man.
Well,
Like
that's well, the one thing that's amazing is like, the water does get dirty eventually in a rig, an oil rig, but like, man, not like a bong at all, not at all. It's
it
crazy.
doesn't
You know,
ever stink
you know what I
either.
hate
It's just
seeing though, and it like
a
makes me
little
cry
nugget.
is like when I see like the oil builds up in like the tubes, and I'm like, ah man, why didn't that make its way into my fucking lungs when I took that rip? Like, you
The
know what I
the
mean?
reclaim the
Yeah, like
reclaim.
that stuff's gross. Like you could take that and I don't know,
Oh,
do something
dude,
with it, but
what when I
tur-
was a younger lad, we used to take that shit out and we would dab it and it would snap, crackle, and pop. But you would get so high, and then you'd have. I mean, I'm talking about like when I was in college. This is like 2010, dude. We would fucking have a little right here that reclaim would get caught and it would be dry. There'd be no water in it, and you pull that out. Oh, you fucking it's already decarbed because it's been heated up. You cook with that, everybody gets high off one batch of cookies, bro.
The
Everybody gets high.
reclaim of like the reclaim of your refined plant material is literally like it's like you're in like what's the movie, the fucking like Inception. You're like in a dream of a
Yeah.
dream of a dream. It's like,
Yes,
yeah, like
dude.
what am I even smoking here? Like what level
It's
of
true
plant
though.
am I on now? Like, and
I wouldn't recommend smoking it, but cooking with it's a good idea.
yeah,
Dude,
it
they
is
say it's
actually.
around 1,000 milligrams per gram of reclaim because it's the stank that's already still stinking and it's there and it's just marinating. Like it's just like Cap just said. It only got better in there. It only got stronger. And I mean, dude, we put out 20
That is
people at a
so
Friendsgiving
crazy.
like eight
Holy
years
shit.
ago with that, with like
That is
20
so
cookies.
crazy,
So just
dude.
a tip for people out there on a budget. You need some, there could be goodies in there, but it can't be
Love it.
submerged in water. You could get sick. So it's got to be in a dry part of the rig.
Yeah, just a tip.
Yes.
Talking about
All
on a
right, all
budget.
right.
So we're coming into the old holiday season. If somebody's looking to get a press, what parts are like a necessity to have and what parts aren't? And like what weights would you recommend getting? Like, is a 2 ton worth it? Should you go up to 6? Should you go to 10? Do you need
Right.
gauges? Can you
So
pull, how much strength do you need to pull them down yourself? Like, what do you recommend for people just getting into it?
okay, so I'd assume if like you're just getting into it that you're pressing flour, because they're kind of totally different. The amount of pressure that you really put to press flour is a lot more than what you would to press hash. Hash is like basically no pressure. I don't even think it's 2 tons is what most people exceed. It's like 2000 psi is what I try to stay in that range, and that's just not a lot of pressure. But for most people starting out, I think like you can honestly get the job done with a 2 ton press. I started out with a 2 ton press, and then I got like a 10 ton press, and it just really depends on, like you said, the lever or what is smushing it down. Like jack, the rosin, the jack levers are the easiest. As far as like deals, I feel like getting on Amazon and going to like Dab Press is the best way. I want to shout out my dude who is like great in my eyes, New York Rosin Press. He definitely has good prices. I don't know if they're the lowest. I like did commercials for him, and
You
so we
know,
like had some trades going on. But he has great presses and a
I've
lifetime
seen them.
warranty on
I've
every
seen them, man.
part, and that is something you'll not find. Like he's literally replaced something that easily could have been my fault in like 2 days. Um, but for hash, you could literally get a small little 2 ton press. For flour, you would probably want 4x7 plates at least. And if you can spring for that for hash, I mean, if you're doing it for hash, you probably can spring for a lot more. To be honest, you're gonna have to get good. But
Yeah, if you're
pressure,
fixing to make yourself some live rosin, you got a budget already, right? I
yeah, it
imagine.
never ends. It never ends. It's just like growing; it never ends. But I'd say
Yeah.
anything under 10 tons of pressure for flour is totally chill. And bottle tech for anybody out there listening, that's the best way to press flour. Best way to get good yields. Put them in 37 U bags to get the cleanest color out of your flour rosin. Probably the best meds you will sacrifice on yield. And one step better is 90 U.
That's what Monster was telling me last. I
That's
think a
the
couple
way.
episodes ago we were talking about. I use 90, sometimes 75 for my flour rosin, and I have a little personal flour rosin press. It is the Rosin Bomb
Yeah,
Rocket.
those are legit.
Is
Yeah,
that
full
the
rocket.
one I have? Or the mini rock. It's like their $500. I got it for 420 on a 420 deal one year. It was like it's not the cheapest one they got. It's the second cheapest one they got, and
No, hell yeah.
it does the trick. Like for pressing your flour, like it does the trick. But I have to try the 37 microns. Like if that'll lighten up the color, if that'll make it a better does it make it a little bit better consistency too?
I mean, it that's kind of strain dependent, but you got to think it's just getting out a little more extra shit and a little more fat and lipid and like a little more
Yeah.
extra whatever got in there because it is flour rosin. But that's kind of how that goes with pressing. I mean, when you're pressing hash rosin, you're pressing with like 25 U bags. Some people even do 15 U. It's just the most
Shit.
filtered it could be, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I did 90U forever with flour rosin until I got 37U, and that you can still crank out super
I got a
fire
friend of mine that
flour
like
rosin.
insists on using 160 bags for his flour. You know what I mean? Because he
I
wants to
did
get
that
like the
too.
most out of it. You know what I mean? So
It's
I get
always
it.
gonna be darker.
Yeah. I went when I wanted to get a press. I went the route of buying a 10 ton from Northern Tool, just a regular shop press, hydraulic press. It was like $300, 350 at the time. And then I bought a 4x6 set of cage plates from Dually Tech. And I have a 10-ton press, for like 650, $700. And it's really easy to assemble. Like a monkey could do it, honestly. The cage plates come assembled. You just plug them in. and put them on top, and then the press, just with standard hand tools, you put it together, ready to rock.
No, that's honestly awesome. I mean, I know for a lot of people, even like me, I'm like, I would be intimidated by like, oh, getting a piece from over here and then having to put it together. I'm
They
sure
give
that
you
it
the
is
instructions.
probably
It's
not that hard.
it's pretty easy, honestly. Like even somebody who's not mechanically inclined could put the thing together. It's with standard
Dude,
hand tools.
Monster could
Right.
walk you through DIYing
I
almost
know he
anything.
could. He already
I
told me how to
hate
like
paying. I hate
protect all the
paying for
voltage
shit
in
that
my
I
house.
know I can fucking build, or you know what I mean. Like when I
For
was
sure.
looking at rosin presses, I'm like, everybody was saying, oh, you want to have one with a gauge, right? So you can see how much pressure, right? You also, want to have one big enough to handle the right set of plates, right? Because the bigger size plates you go, the more pressure you need. That's what people need to understand. So if you want to
Yeah.
press, decent amounts, you need more pressure, a bigger
Especially
press.
for an even press all
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
And that's the other
Oh,
thing too. I always recommend cage plates because you're gonna get a much better press, in my opinion, than trying to like line shit up like, bottom plate, top plate type of shit. If you're
there
doing
was
it,
I'm sorry. There was someone asking in the chat, and what's up, Brack to the future, our meme artist, one of the meme artists. But he was asking, do you measure the pressure at the plates compared to the pressure of the cylinder? Or I think that's how he would phrase it. I don't know. Does that
He
make
just wants to
sense
know.
to?
He wants you to talk about pressure at the plate compared to pressure in the cylinder.
Yeah,
So
like when you're
the
pressing.
pressure that I'm talking about is the pressure that you're reading off of the gauge that's coming there. So that's, I mean, I assume that is the
Where
pressure
does that?
of
Yeah,
the
does
of
that
the
come from? The
cylinder.
plates or the
It's
cylinder
well,
itself? All
the
right.
pressure is on the pump of the gauge. So there's a whole separate next to my plates and the whole press. There's an actual pump, an oil pump, and that's how you're getting the pressure. It's reading the pressure on the gauge right there as it's pushing against, basically it's just pushing the plates up the whole time until it gets to where you want it to be. And I don't go over 2000 psi on my first press of hash rosin at all. But I assume that that's the same amount of pressure, or that is the pressure of the cylinder, hitting the plates.
no, 100% is. As a machinist, I can tell you because
Yeah,
we
it would.
use shop. That's why the gauge is there, so you can tell how much pressure you're.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah,
why I wanted one. That's why so many people that do rosin want that. Is so, sometimes it is hard to feel that because a lot of people say just feel it out. And with flower rosin, without most of those presses, you won't get one. And it's not as necessary with flower rosin, but with hash, sitting there with a ton of fucking hash in a bag and you blow it out. That's
yeah.
the worst thing you can have. And I've been
It
there,
is really, really hard to feel out, but you know what I actually feel like the gauge is the most helpful for, at least for me, because I'm a fucking gorilla, is like that pre-press like that you get, like just
Oh
to
yeah,
kind of get things settled in. Because you can
nice
read
and warm.
you're watching that needle, you know what I mean, to make sure that you've just barely got it to register, like with enough
So
pressure.
I don't even do that. Mine doesn't, like when I'm doing hash, it's not registering at all. What I'm doing is I just get it so the plates are just touching, just sitting on the bag of hash, not even touching. It's not even registering pressure, and I'll let it sit there for like 30 seconds. And everybody who has press hash, they'll know. You wait to look, and your white bag across one side to the other will start to get translucent. It's like this yellow coat, like of liquid coming across, and then it starts to dump, and then that's when stuff is put a little more pressure. You won't get a blowout. Hit the timer, let it go for like 3 minutes. And I don't go over 2000 psi because I can take it off and then in 2 minutes put it back on, go to 4000 psi and get another gram out of the bag or 2 grams, at the second press. And a lot of companies will do that and sell that. Like 710 Labs sells their second press as like a second tier product. Um, and
Gotcha.
I just smoke it because it's already cured. So I don't have all my other shit's curing. I'm smoking this shit I can already whip up because it's not fresh press. It's buttered because it's been under heat 2 times. So I love it. It's a little treat. Always get your second press. I don't know.
Like the burnt ends of the like if you were making a barbecue
Yeah,
brisket
totally.
or something.
It's
So
the juiciest part while you
it's,
wait. Like
it's
it's honestly the shit.
uh yeah, man, that's cool, dude. I love hearing about the technique, It's an art, man. It's an art. And fitting too, because I see See the keyboard back there, man. It looks like you're, bit of an artist yourself.
Yeah, I do music. I do music. Stoked to be able to do music and be able to be like a stay-at-home papa, which is super chill. So till I can
Oh yeah,
support
man.
myself.
You're
People listening to my
he's a
music.
hash
Yes,
man artist,
people already see me. So
musician.
yeah, listen to Dr. Dundiff. I'm on all streaming platforms, but that's what I do, and it's awesome.
Tough, man. I had it on this morning as I was up in the garden. I was like,
Hey,
you
hear
sent me
that?
those albums. It's like you said, it's chill, man.
So can
You
people
just
find
gotta
your shit on
you got a
Spotify,
chill vibe.
places like that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I
Like
got
Oh
it's
yeah.
a lot of
Dr. Dundiff, like you said.
yeah, DRDUNDIFF, like done different. There you go.
Nice. All right.
I like
I
it, man.
get it.
Yeah,
I
check it
get it. I
out.
get it. Well, that could be your. I mean, if you're ever gonna change the Mr. Auto Grow moniker, I mean, yeah, just go there, dude. You're a doctor now. You're not. You didn't. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't announce that you're a doctor if you are in fact a doctor. It's just like you didn't go to fucking 8 years of med school
For
to be
nothing.
called
Yeah,
Mister, right?
exactly.
There you
Oh
go. I
man,
think
I gotta.
we just figured out your solution there, man. Just roll with
But
that.
you
I
could
would blend them
be.
if the state was different. If the state was
I
a
hear
different
you.
Yeah, yeah.
color where I live,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
One day, I'm
Um,
praying.
Real quick though, before we get off the hash talk and the pressing, we got another question about what dimension bags do you use, which is actually a great question. I want to know that myself.
Yeah, I use a 2 by 4.5, I believe. Let me double check that right over here. I don't want to say some bullshit.
And there are all
Yeah,
the
two by
Rosin
four point
Club,
five. I use
the
I've been using Press Club, but I'm
Press
kind of
Club. That's it.
always
Yeah,
Press Club or Rosin Evolution. I kind of swear by
that's
Rosin Evolution.
word.
25 micron, 2 by 4.5, and always, so important. When you have your bag of hash, so you flip the end over. There's one side that always has a seam on it. You always want to double bag your hash. So you take the seam side and your next bag, because you have to double bag it. Seam side, other seam side. You want them on opposite sides as you put this in here. Never want seams on the same side. Put your bag in here. Oh, I kind of just fumbled that because there's nothing in it, but boom, you put it all the way down to the bottom. But you never want seams to be on the same side. That's how you get blowouts and that's how you get weak yields. Little tip if anybody's listening.
All right,
Sorry,
wait, wait,
had to
wait.
go
So
there.
you double bag.
Always double bag with
You
hash,
always.
not with flour.
All
But
right,
yeah,
all right, all right. Gotcha.
yeah. Sorry.
If you were to no, all right, now I've heard you're not supposed to double bag because it like creates friction and it could create like a tear. Is that
Oh
the
no,
same thing
dude.
as a
It's like
blowout?
it's
Or wait, we're
it's the
talking about the same
opposite.
thing now? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
basically a blowout is like a tear. There's
Took
too
me a
much
second.
pressure. It causes a stitch to open up.
That went. No, no, I'm just playing, dude.
I think it was the 100 milligrams of
Um,
candy I just ate about an hour ago.
the so for rosin, you double bag. That's interesting. Just so you could pack it more, or for
Yeah, and
hash.
because if you go too fast when you're pressing and it doesn't have enough support in the bags, if the bag does tear, hash gets out, then you have a blowout, you ruined all the hash. So it's kind of like an extra layer of support. Some people do what I just did and then put it in a 160 on top of that. I'm like, that seems like a lot, but some people press like
Triple
a
bag,
lot
man.
at a
Oh
time,
man,
60, 80 grams. Fuck, people are crazy.
you
So
gotta be
triple.
real
So
worried about
before we get off the rosin thing, we kind of went like a little all over the place on your pressing technique. Could you kind of just give us like a quick rundown on like your procedure? So you've double bagged it, right? You have it in your press. Just a very make sure the plate's making contact. You said for about 30 seconds. And at what temperature are you typically pressing
So
at?
I press basically everything at 178. It's just what works best for me. Some people go higher, some go lower. But I'll go for once I see, like I said, the translucent and it's starting to like rosin's coming out of the actual bag towards down the directional fold. I'll put the timer on. I'll let it go for 3 minutes, and then
At what
regardless of where
pressure?
it's at,
You said
I'm gradually. I'm just the whole time. Basically, the first minute, there's we're not even registering. Maybe we're just tapping zero. Because honestly, you'd be surprised that first minute you really want to be gentle so you don't get a blowout. But by then, next 2 minutes, I'm slowly making my way to 2,000 psi. And the last 20 seconds, I'm at 2,000 psi, and I'll cut it, take it off, set it to the side, collect everything, put the bag back on, right away go to where I left off, 2000, and then over the next minute get to 4,000 psi for probably 2 minutes. That's my second press.
Yeah.
so you're never going above 4 tons.
No, no, and definitely that's only on the second press. On the first press, we're staying pretty low, but yeah, never over 4 tons. But with flour, you could easily go over that if you were trying to double puck press or even just have a fat bag because everything is stacked like this with flour when you do bottle tech, as opposed to these bags that lay on their sides that are literally touch them with your hands and they're fucking greasing up and it's like putty. So
Yeah, the thing about
yeah,
bottle tech too is it's a lot easier. I get questions all the time on like how you keep the bag shut and whatnot, and that's obviously the easiest way once you fold it into itself basically and
You kind of
put
it's
it
all
just
in
about
there.
how
you
you
gotta
start
like
that. You got to
use
pinch
the
the
press. Yeah.
bottom to really push it down. So when you get done, it looks like a squished beer can. I mean, you just watch a few of those YouTube videos. Like that's all I feel like
Yeah.
that's all I did. And I feel like a lot of people just got to see it visually. I'm like that. And once you do, a couple trial and
Yeah,
error.
man. It's an art, like we were saying. You gotta just get your hands dirty. You're not gonna be good at it at first at all.
Got to be
You're
scared
gonna
to blow out some
you,
bags.
you're gonna waste. I mean, there's gonna be like a learning curve, and you're probably gonna like seemingly waste a lot of flour, learning how to get the most out of it, and pressing, and that kind of stuff. I imagine it's the same with hash too. Like you take all the time to like turn your flour into like a bubble hash, and then pressing that. It's like there's a specific technique for all that with different variables that you gotta like dial in. It's like, man, it takes getting your hands dirty and learning as you go. And well, listening to, you know, guys such as yourself too who've done it once or
Hey,
twice.
dropped a lot of fucking knowledge bombs tonight,
That
man.
helps. That
Mhm.
helps a lot. Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Thank you. And I guess did you learn a lot of this stuff from Frenchie?
Uh, so much respect to Frenchie. I've learned everything I've learned. Maybe a lot of the information came from somebody who learned it from him indirectly. I can't say I've honestly ever learned anything from Frenchie. I kind of had a homie, Green Hand Grow Me, who taught me how to wash, and I took his method and upgraded to like a bigger system. And as far as pressing, I learned a lot of shit on Instagram. But Frenchie, like he does do that stuff, but he also kind of does like the temple balls and a little more hands-on, washing old hash techniques,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I
while
feel like
washing
that was
too.
what he,
yeah,
he specialized in was a lot of like
yeah,
the more, you know,
Hand
untaught
hash, whatever.
techniques.
I
Yeah.
can't think of what
Chara.
that's called.
old
Chara,
school
chara,
kind of
yeah.
hash stuff. But like, yeah, he
All right.
unfortunately, he passed not too
Oh,
long
rest in
ago.
peace.
So
No,
yeah, dude,
I'm
rest in
sure I would
peace,
not be
Frenchie, man. Yeah,
washing
yeah,
without him
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
He's his knowledge, like, I mean, kind of like spread throughout the
Oh,
community, and like that's, I mean, the kind of like professional extraction, which you are certainly at like a professional level. I've tried your stuff, man. It competes with the best stuff that I've tried from the dispensary. It is every bit as good, every bit as terpy, and it's even better. It's a craft product with love and care put into each little batch, man. So, man,
I appreciate that.
I
Thank you.
loved it, seriously. And like, it's just, it takes professional gear, takes a little bit of like know-how. It just takes a passion, man, for the plant, which you
Passion and time, man. Like,
clearly have.
I mean, all of us are just amazing growers, and I don't think any of us would consider ourselves pros in anything because we're always still learning. Like I try to always just, like student mindset because I'm learning shit every day about this stuff and even about the plants that we grow. But I just think if you want to do
And
something and you like have that passion, you'll do it because we all started growing for a reason, and that takes a lot of
spark.
drive to even get into that, and then it's a rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole is the same with hash. It's the same with all like passions. You're never fulfilled and satisfied. You want more, and it's so great, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's healthy. It'd be bad if we were all smoking crack or something. That would be terribly unhealthy. But they're healthy passions, and there's no reason to
Did you guys see
not
that?
be
Crack,
proud of what
right?
you've accomplished.
It's so funny, like crack. So crack, you just like got my noggin jogging a little bit. It's crack is the reclaim of the analogy we made earlier, where like
Yeah.
if your your hash, your live rosin is your cocaine, then your reclaim is the crack.
Oh, you accidentally boiled some of that cocaine? Oh, well, don't throw it away.
Never
Bad
throw it
joke.
away.
Terrible.
Never throw it away. No. Should not have cocaine, kids. Just don't. It's not worth it. Truly,
Good for you.
Okay.
There are a lot of kids
Not worth
watching this right now.
I hope there's not. I seriously, you have to be 18 at least. Right. So we were, we know you're an Autopot man, right? Shout out to Autopot. I wanted to get into a little bit, maybe your techniques with them, but I also did want to shout out, not Manny, Luke, the man behind the account today. I got word maybe 5 hours before we went live on Twitch tonight that like they shipped out the XXXL Autopot system for me.
It's double XL.
How big
I
is
know.
that?
The double XL, and
Oh, are you not I thought you were already rocking double XL.
No, we got the XLs.
XL.
Is the XL 6.6?
An extra X.
Yeah, the XLs are the 6.7 gal.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yep.
that's what I have. So
It's
how much is
1x
the
better.
how much is
One-
the
one
extra
more
X?
Say that again.
How much is the extra X? How much is the XXL, basically?
So there's options between 9 gallons and 13 gallons.
Holy shit.
Now, like they're fucking magnums, dude, right? Like that's the XXL, right? You gotta be packing some serious heat to work with the
that's
XXL.
wild.
And it's so in my experience with Autopots, man, like I mean, I'm pumped for them because running organics, 5 gallons, 6.6 gallons in like the plastic version of the XLs, it's not quite enough to run like a water only. You got to do extra work,
more
top
than
dressing, but like
soil,
that kind of shit. Now I feel like I went for the 9-gallon version. Okay. 13 scares the fuck out of me. 13 gallons.
How
like
humid would your tent be? Are you gonna run more than one? I mean, God, I can't even
4.
imagine.
I'm gonna have 4 in my 5x5. That's like I was like Luke, I don't even think like 4 13-gallon Autopots are gonna fit in my tent, let alone like
2 gallons of soil in one tent for 4 plants.
I know.
That'd be
Could
crazy.
you imagine
Right?
those plants? That would be terrifying.
The
Those would be
monsters
trees.
that I would grow. Yeah, the
You would
monsters.
need a machete.
Oh,
Yeah.
stand by. I got the 13 gals on the way.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus,
know.
that's
Are you gonna run them
wild.
Say
outside?
that.
Tell me you're running them
I
outside.
know.
Oh, I live in Massachusetts. When the fuck am I gonna do that? These bitches are getting fired up right away. So, like I said, all things happen for a reason. Remember, I told you this, right?
He's the real green monster.
So those are gonna be my first attempt at a real organic grow, and I'm doing autoflowers. So it's gonna be learn with me experience.
Wow,
You have an
autoflower,
orchard.
With auto
doesn't that
flowers in them, you
kind of
said?
Yeah.
scare you? You could
Holy fuck.
potentially have a little small auto in a big pot of soil. That would scare me.
Yeah, no, that won't happen. I won't allow that to happen. I've never grown midget
Yeah,
autos. I'm not gonna start now.
Not
yeah,
with a
true, for sure.
13-gallon fucking auto pot you're
Ah,
naming.
Nope. And
You're gonna
there's
get,
a
you're
you'll
gonna
see
be
there's
insane.
a
yeah,
method
it's
to my
true.
madness.
Good point.
And they're not all going to autoflowers. I got plans for a few
I was
others.
gonna
So
say throw some photos
yeah,
in there, but yeah, no,
I
I
only have
feel you.
so much space here. But the first ones are getting filled with my own amended cocoa mix that I'll talk about later, with some autoflowers. Let's see what we can do.
Right, dude. I love it. So that was part of my conversation kind of with Luke. He was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know, like 13 gallons scares me, but go big or go home, right? Like, fuck it, just
Well, the
send me
way
the
I look at it is
13.
if you want to go truly water only and not have to worry about it, you're gonna need really big plants.
I agree with that premise. Now, I think,
Like no weekly turn off. Is that what you mean? Just straight water?
yeah,
No. Okay. Yeah. Right.
straight water, like the whole grow. Now, I do think if I like that, you're right. Like 13 gallons would be the way to go in organics, a water only grow. That's not what I'm after. I'm literally just after, like, I want to take like a couple top dressings out, like maybe just do less work overall. I'm sure I'm still gonna do like the pre-flower top
Feed.
dressing and
Yeah.
feed and all that stuff, but like maybe that'll be all I have to do. Just one in the middle of the grow. That would be
I
awesome.
plan on setting it up like I do all my other autopot grows. I'm gonna have a secondary reservoir for things like teas and stuff like that, so I can
Yeah,
just shut off the
that's
main
sick.
and then just
Seen your
feed 'em.
videos. It's
Good
super
idea.
cool.
Yeah. So I'm
So
really
yeah,
not
I
gonna
mean,
change much other than the fact that it's gonna be organic.
Right.
Same methods really.
word. I love it. You're gonna make like a super cocoa, man. That's exciting, man. You should honestly start a YouTube channel. Seriously, I want
I
to see
have a
this.
YouTube channel with about 40 subscribers. I don't know why they subscribed. I think I have like 3 5-minute videos on there. But yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking about just putting it on the cultivation conversation YouTube, try to get, some more people on there.
Mm-hmm.
For
Do
sure.
it.
I mean, why the fuck not? I just think it deserves to be seen, especially those auto flowers in those
No,
things.
I
You're
want to
gonna
document it as much as possible. I got a new
get
camera.
insane.
So I want to set things up and have it be nice. Yeah.
So
So
I don't know exactly when those things are going to be kind of like on the website available for general consumption, but
That's
I
dope,
imagine it's
though.
fucking soon because they got them in the warehouse. I know that much. They're
I
coming
mean,
like tomorrow, dude. They shipped them 5 hours ago. They're coming tomorrow. That's how fast Autopots is with this stuff.
well,
They
you
don't-
are in very close relative
You're right
location to
next
their
to 'em.
to
warehouse.
their warehouse. I know it's funny, but I'm sick. They don't fuck around. Like
No, they really don't.
order
Like
something,
I
it's
order
out.
shit and it's usually there within 2 days.
Yeah, they're
And I say if
quick.
you live in on the West Coast, probably 3-4 max. They're really good at getting shit out. So
Cool, man.
Yeah,
But
they are. I got all my tents on autopots right now. 2 flower tents and 1 veg tent, all on the same water
hell yeah,
reservoir.
man.
It's
Hell
so
yeah.
fucking easy.
the same
Yeah.
res, you said?
Yeah, it's just got 3 lines. I kind of have it so one comes
Nice.
out with a split, and then a split, and another split, and
I love it, man.
pretty
Some
chill.
shit I would
That's
do.
because it's all just water, right?
Yeah, and once a
Yeah.
week I just turn them all off, give them a day, like let them dry back basically, and then the next morning when the lights come on at 6, I feed them all their own cocktails.
Make
Fucking
like
rad, dude.
a little
But
tea,
yeah, I just
a
I
cocktail
just
though. Yeah, I
have
like
to
that.
cut my veg plants down because I took cuts of them. I was gonna run them next round, I got hit up by Bloom Seed Co. to test some new stuff, and honestly, it's the biggest honor I think I've had as a grower. So
Badass.
I'm running regs in that veg tent. Yeah, they'll be here Friday. I'm like super stoked. I haven't even like
Oh yeah,
mentioned
man,
it at
that's fucking
all, but
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, they just
And
reached out to me. I'm super hyped.
hell yeah, dude. I mean, you deserve it. Honestly, you've been repping them for a while. I know. That's
Yeah, it's like my favorite
yeah.
for sure.
That's like one of the breeders you say breeds for making hash.
Mhm.
And
So good at it, dude. He's so good. Yeah, I think one of them's like papaya times candy fumes. Oh man, like I think candy fumes is Sherbanger times Z. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty hyped.
Delicious.
yeah, that sounds amazing, man.
Sounds hashy, but yeah. So chopping those plants down, and I'm just gonna. I got like a Black Friday Farmer Freeman test kit, so I just don't even have time to do your way, which is a sick way. I was telling people about it in the Bloom Discord. Throw them in cups and don't even let them root. Just put them under 1212 and let them show
It works.
sex.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. Hell
Like I
yeah,
said, I don't
it's
like paying
crazy.
for shit if I don't have to. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I kind of just don't. I got the only
I'll
other
tell you,
space I have. I
it's
got
much
like 20
quicker.
clones. So
What people don't realize is you could just take the Cotty Linden and put it in between those two pieces of glass and send it off. You can know before. I mean,
that's exactly, yeah. Not waste any soil or time.
yep,
Like
yep,
7
I get it.
days. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that should be chill.
nice, brother.
Damn, that bong looks nice.
No, now I feel like a filthy peasant, like smoking this dis-
Oh,
disgusting flower from
come
my
on,
my
bro.
bong. I just
Smells kind of burnt. I'm just kidding.
So unrefined.
yeah, so
Refined.
unrefined. Exactly, G3. That's
Yeah. See,
exactly right.
I don't usually have time to make bubble anymore. I'm usually like a keef
Yeah, it's a
press guy.
process.
I like to press keef. That's generally my jam.
Oh,
I'll
then
tell you though, I do like the taste of a good flower rosin. It's different, you know. So, but keef's usually
You're
my
right.
jam.
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've had some super tasty flower rosins. Keef, that's the way. Pressing keef. Clean the keef up and then
Yo,
press it. That's the way.
so like keef can act kind of as your hash. That is hash, basically.
Yeah,
It's the
you want
extracted trichomes.
it's just still got plant matter in it and stuff. Unless you're running it through like some crazy screens, but you can still press keef, and you'd press it the same way you would hash. You might not have to double bag it, depending on how much you could though. But I used to press keef like I would hash all the time when I was still trimming weed, and
Double
yeah,
bagging's a
press
good method, honestly.
yeah, and
So,
definitely let the bag grease up.
I like definitely that's what I do with my keef. Usually I press it. I press most of it. I do, like the topping my bowls and shit with
Oh,
it too
right.
and that kind of stuff. But pressing it's a great way to use it. Now, I found a jar the other day of trim bin keef that like I hadn't seen in maybe a year and a half. Okay, like it's old shit, and it like it looked darker than I remember. It was way like a couple shades darker than I remember. And I opened the jar and I'm like inspecting it, and it kind of had this like a swaggy kind of smell. Like it did not smell good in any way. So I'm like, has it degraded beyond the point of use? Like or is it like, I just wonder about like, the trichomes themselves. You know how like the oils in the trichomes can change from like THC to like different cannabinoids if you let them, but that's on the plant, right? Does that happen in the post processing world as well?
I
Can
don't think it
cannabinoids
degrades like to the way like
no?
THCA would to CBD after it's off the plant. But I do think that like a good reason that it could have smelled like that is like the plant matter in the sift because
It was probably
trim still has it's still like
a
it's
lot of plant
not as
matter in there. Yeah.
yeah, it's not as refined as hash, and like that could have just got like how if you leave weed in a jar, I would have been like to see how it would have done in a fridge because a lot of people will take their cleaned up keef and just throw it in the fridge or freezer, and it still kind of keeps its color, and you never know.
Interesting. Yeah, and like I tried to press it. I tried, and it
Super
came out,
dark,
yeah, really, really dark, and just like not. I didn't
stale.
want anything
And
to do with it. And
did it come out like shatter? I've tried that once, like with really old teeth.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
runny. It was really runny
Oh,
and just
runny, yeah.
it looked
It's the
bad.
worst. You like try and go at it with a tool, and your tool just kind of like meh,
Yeah,
nothing will come up on it.
it looked
Yeah, it's
bad, right? So,
no
like,
fun.
and the degradation of the cannabinoids, like as well as the trichomes themselves, okay, like that, it is kind of an interesting thing how like on the plant, at least from my understanding, like THC is not the first cannabinoid to develop, right? In the trichome. If the oils and the heads and stuff like that,
Mhm.
that's you have to wait till like the head is cloudy for that
To even start.
THC to be in there. At least from the way I understand it. And then when your trichome heads get like amber colored, that like, you know, everyone says you want like 10-20% amber.
Right,
That's
that's
actually a degraded,
degradation.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
that's a
sure.
different cannabinoid then. Like I think it's like CBN or like
It's
um yeah, I think it's CBN and it's like the one that makes you super tired, super
right.
sleepy.
Yeah, it's CBN, and it's like basically, at that point, longer and longer you go to see more amber. It's just a ripe fruit getting more and more past its point to be, plucked in somebody's eyes. That's some people like it all amber, some people don't like any, but that's basically what's happening. I love the analogy that Frenchie always used of a trichome being like a fruit, and the head swells up like a fruit would when it's juiced and ready to be plucked, and then shrivels when it's, past its
Yeah, and
prime. So,
the ambering and it also does shrivel as
oh,
it
for sure.
ambers too, right? That's like think of like a banana. We were talking about last
Right,
show
exactly.
for
It's just
way too
fruit.
fucking long.
But
I
yeah,
have a
dude.
friend that makes hash, and I tried to get him on the show. He's just not interested, not his thing. But he was telling me, in his eyes, for a hash maker, the best point of harvest for a plant is literally if you could time it, like it's hard, obviously, is like the second or the day or whatever before you see any amber. Like you want
Yeah.
it right up that like cusp. And that's what he's looking for when he's harvesting because he just grows just for hash as well. So I don't know how true it is, but
I mean,
it makes
that's
sense, right?
Well, I
yeah,
would
but
think
that's
like
just what
the
he's looking for.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's different, and some people say you pull super early to get it lighter. I pull like day 66 to day 70 of 56 to 63-day strains, when they're like 20-30% amber, and the hash is still a great color. I like a little bit more of that intense stone, but I mean, really, the color comes into play, like darker colors, when it's like outdoor. And outdoor is like the best sun grown rosin when done right is the best shit you can get. There's no better expression for a plant than the sun that the plant receives. And you'll see that and you'll smell that with terps, taste that, potency high, all whatever. But basically, at the end of the day, I think, I don't know, I guess I kind of lost my train of thought after I started talking about how it's
I know.
sun grown. Sorry, but
Homegrown's great shit, man. No, like it's I think there's a whole discussion in there about sun-grown, man. Now I was thinking about the trichomes and different cannabinoids and stuff, right? Because I got this stuff from the dispensary the other day. I don't know if you can see this. It's called Dr. Solomon's Doze Drops.
Snake oil? Dr.
Pretty
Someone's
much. Pretty much. No, it's
I mean,
called
it sounds like
Dr.
something that somebody sold
Solomon's.
off the back of like a cart.
I know, right? It's like Dr. McGillicuddy's like magic salve. Yeah, I know. But literally, if you can see, there is
CBD? Oh,
half
CBN?
CBN
Yeah.
and half THC.
THC.
I
Nice.
thought it was very interesting.
So they just gave you a super overripe plant in the bottle.
Like it's just degraded terpenes, degraded cannabinoids, but it's
But
like
not
it makes you
necessarily
sleepy. It makes you sleepy. It like
Yeah.
this stuff for a sleeping aid is the most effective shit I have ever tried, hands down. Like I mean, it's like a little bit I put under my tongue, like just a little couple drops, and I was like out like a light. I mean, I
Wow.
slept almost as well as I did when they put me out for my wisdom tooth surgery. Like that was the best sleep of my life. But
This plant's a miracle, I swear.
I know,
The
right?
variety and the multifaceted amount of uses is
Well,
just
they say
continually
autos
mind-blowing
have
to me.
higher CBN count typically than a lot of photos.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly wonder. You know, like I was looking up. I don't know anything about this product other than I bought it at a Pennsylvania dispensary, right? Like I literally, I don't go there for flour. I don't go there for hash. Well,
And
sometimes
it works, right?
the
You say it works.
live rosin. I do at the dispensary. The only thing I would ever buy there, but it does work. G3, it does. It really.
How much for how
it's
much?
great. It was like $100 for the bottle.
Wow.
$100.
Damn. They're making a
Yeah.
killing. Holy
That
shit.
I'm sure they
seems
are. I'm sure they are.
excessive.
$100.
But it's, I mean, you only use a couple drops. It should have lasted me like maybe 2-3 months. I'm sure. Like, dude,
Worth every penny at that point if it's helping you sleep.
I'm
I mean, if
telling
it's
you guys,
helping, yeah.
I'm
for
the kind
sure.
of guy like I'm very like I wake up constantly and throughout the night, and I'm very like easily aroused. I mean, in my sleep.
Right,
I mean
right.
from my sleep, not in my sleep. No, you know what I
Get it
mean.
right, man.
Yeah, nocturnal emissions, we get it.
But this shit, I'm telling you, like I was a full 8
No more.
hours. Like
No
I
more
didn't wake up
arousal at
once.
night.
I didn't wake up once. It's great. It's really cool, and it's that CBN. So I think it does do its job, man. If you waited and let your plant amber up like 50%, because this says it's 50% THC, 50% CBN, I imagine you're gonna get that kind of same sedative sort of effect from your flower.
You probably would, but the terps would be fucking gone.
Yeah, true.
Not
But
gone,
there's
but
terps added to that, though. Probably you could just add your own kind of flavor.
Yeah,
if you-
this because it's already like it's in a tincture form,
Yeah.
and it's meant to be taken, you know, orally like that, and it has like some orange oil in it. Like it's tasty.
It sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good.
I like it.
yeah, I like it. I'm a sucker for anything artificial orange.
Tastes like a real one, dude. Tastes like a orange slice at halftime kind of deal. Like
Oh yeah, like soccer mom
yeah,
shit.
real
Yeah.
good, real good orange. But
No
yeah, I
shit.
just, dude, it like you said, G3, amazing, a truly amazing plant. From all the just the flower alone, okay, is this mind-blowing creation of nature. Just, you know, and then the breeding that goes in and the work that takes, you know, the natural construct and then turns it into this human tool, right? It's basically a tool for us. We've turned it into that. And then to turn the flower into these post-processed forms of super refined. I mean, dude, it's the medicine, super refined medicine. It's crazy.
Here you
it
go.
is.
Cure what ails ya.
Or you could just view it as like a Coke cartel, like refining cocoa leaves in the jungle, turning their flour, their cocoa leaves into this horrible. No, it's not anything like that, guys. I truly don't view it as the same kind of refinement. I am using that as a joke. It is a joke,
No,
but like
totally, because it's like a miracle what
it
has been
is.
done with refining. I mean, you see videos of kids taking literally hash oil that have seizures and it stops them. Kids that can't eat. People dying that can't eat, and it's crazy. Like
Plant
there's so
itself,
much to it. It is a plant that doesn't stop giving, and in other
yeah,
ways. I mean, how many people have found themselves growing this plant? Just by themselves in their own home, found a new passion and just rediscovered themselves in some way. Like, it's great.
fucking right. Well, I think we're about at the time in the show when we might want to start saying goodbye. Now,
Yeah.
where can people? I'm sorry.
No,
What you
no,
got?
go ahead. I was gonna say the same thing you're about to say. So my bad. Where
No
can people find you?
worries. No worries. Yeah, where can people get a hold of you, man?
I'm just on Instagram, Mr. Auto Grow. Fruit snacks. That's Fruit snacks rosin. That's my little small batch rosin co. But I mean, that's just kind of it. Just doing my thing, growing plants, making hash. Nothing really bigger
Plant,
than that.
making hash,
Thanks, brother.
making music too.
Living the
And
dream.
making
Under
music.
under Dr. Dundiff, the other alias. But
Yeah, check it
that's
out.
what's up, dude. No, I've truly thank you for coming back on, man. The Autoflower Gentlemen's Club part deux. Not so much on the autoflower side of things, but it's all right.
Yeah.
I think I'm stuck with the Captain Autoflower thing too. Like, to be quite honest, if I wanted to just grow photo periods, I mean, I would probably still have the name Captain
You
Autoflower.
already got the admiral, so
No,
you're gonna
he's
be
sunk. He's
He's
fucking,
retired.
yeah, he's retired. That's right. He's sunk. He didn't get sunk. He just got
He's honorably discharged.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. What can you do, man? But um do we have I am not prepared. Do we have
No,
any
we don't have any new Patreons, but it's a good thing actually because it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to take it back to our roots and talk and give a shout out to some of our earlier Patreon supporters. So I'm actually going to start right at the beginning, and we
good
talked about
idea?
this guy a lot. Super good dude to the community. One of my friends, great man. Shout out to Big Green Guy. People don't know this. He was actually our first Patreon supporter. Been with us since day one. Great fucking dude. We love him.
Nice.
Yep. Shout out to Marty, Back Nine Bandit.
I
He was
love
actually our
Marty.
second Patreon supporter.
Thank you,
Really,
Marty.
really appreciate your support, man. You're a great member of the community, and I love you. You're a good dude.
And it's a hell of
Um,
a golfer too.
and to keep it short and sweet, honestly, I could say that about every single one of you guys on this list. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Shout out to Blackwater Auto Grows, another fucking great dude. Paul Gilbertson.
From the Crafting Cannabis podcast.
Yep. Blackwater, absolutely. Shout out to Mac Attack Gardens. Fucking, solid dude. Really good man. And we're gonna stop here. Shout out to Early Bird Auto Grows, also from Crafting Cannabis. We appreciate your support, buddy. Love what you guys are doing with the show over there too. So
Yeah, truly.
yeah, keep it up. And then so now I remember where I left off. Next week, we're gonna just keep rolling down the list and go down the people that have supported us from the beginning. Because I feel like now that we're doing this in video format, I feel like you guys deserve a shout out.
Absolutely, man.
Always.
Absolutely. And yeah, just thank you to everyone else out there in podcast land, listening live on the audio only version. We don't care. We just care that you're here with us, and we hope you're enjoying the show as much as we're enjoying the conversation. So,
And a big thank you to Mad Hatter, as always. My man behind the curtain. Thanks so much.
Oh,
We love
and
you.
speaking of podcasts, Mad Hatter started his podcast called The Growers Exchange. Go check it out. Had his first
Nice.
episode out with Chad Westport. I imagine by the time this
Yay.
airs, he'll have another one, maybe two in the bank. So yeah,
It
go
was
check it
good.
out.
On YouTube, also
Spotify.
where your
iTunes.
finer podcasts can be
Yeah.
found.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
yeah, man. We just, we love seeing all you guys doing your own things too. Like it's inspiring for us to like watch what you guys are up to as well. So same goes for you, Mr. Autogrow or Dr. Auto.
I get you guys.
Dr. Photo
Dr.
Grow.
Everything Grow.
But Mr. Autogrow, it's a pleasure watching you, man, do your thing, and your, the place you've taken this hobby is far beyond like most tent pirates, but like it's a place we can all aspire to at least and work towards. So, yo, man, thank you for spilling the knowledge and helping us.
No, man. Thank you all for having me. It's an awesome show. I listen every chance I can. I love jamming them. Walking my dogs. I try and do as much as I can. So it's fun to be back on and just kind of shoot the shit. And, I respect all you guys a lot. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Mhm. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's a pleasure. And yeah, just other than not getting caught, I really don't know what else to tell you guys tonight. So adios and see you in a week. Toodles.